Well, in this episode of the podcast, guys, we're going to do something a little different. My dad and I were invited to our cousin's deer camp up in Littrow, Louisiana. Now, if you know where Littrow is, you just don't happen by Littrow. You actually have to go to Littrow. Littrow is a very, very small community right there on the Arkansas-Louisiana state line. Great place to hunt. So we went to the Po' Boy Hunting Club. That's where we are. In this episode, we went and interviewed my cousin, Bobby Earl. Bobby Earl Hicks is, we pretty sure he's the oldest living Hicks right now of our family. Bobby Earl and his family gather up every Thanksgiving. Every single year they have gathered up for Thanksgiving for years, have a great celebration, and they asked us to come up meet with them this Wednesday night, Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Had a great time. Brought out the camera, and it's something I wish that I had done earlier with some of our older generation. Bobby Earl is my grandfather and my uncle's age. I mean, he was of that generation. Those guys could tell some stories. So I got with Bobby Earl. I said, hey, man, let's just talk about your camp. And we talked about a few other things. So without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to my cousin, Bobby Earl.
I'm Bobby Earl Hicks. I'm 92 years old. Been here a long time. I'm the oldest Hicks still living that I know of. I was camping in here and further inside on our hunting club in a camper trailer. Camped in there for several years and a lot of roughing it going on. I bought this property right here. I bought an acre and 3/10. And it was, that old house was out there, and it was just like a rest of it was just like an old wilderness. Lonnie, my son-in-law, and I came up here, and we started with an axe, slash blade, cleaning it out. First day we came up here, I told Lonnie we're fixing to clean this place up. He said, all this? I said, yeah. And we did. We cleaned it up. You couldn't hardly get to that old house there for briars and everything in the world. So we cleaned it up, and I still had a camper trailer. I bought the camper trailer out here, and I got me a bulldozer first and cleaned the place off, leveled it, and brought my camper trailer here. I already had that building out there, what is now the boys' dormitory. I already had it. I had it it was a camp at the river. And I would bring it from the river up here in the wintertime, put polyethylene around it. Well, I got it up here, I walled it up. So I put my camper trailer right beside of that thing, built a little vestibule in, but from the trailer over to that building. Mm-hmm. Then I sold my camper trailer and I bought this house trailer and put it here. And I started building from there to what it is right now. We just kept adding along with all the kids helping me. And that's how we got to where we are at right here now. Okay, the fireplace out there. We had a fire outside, just on the ground. And you sit down out there and the wind blowing and you couldn't, smoke could get in, just come to you and then it'd leave. I built that barrel, that stack, and I put that pipe there where it would vent and we just sat around there. Then I take it and I built that shed around it. And all the pipe that you see welded there, my wife, Pat, she helped me. we built all the framework for that pipe. She was holding it for me. And then I built that. And then I had tarps around it for a while. Then I taken the tarps down, I pulled me a slab around it. Where that pipe is at now, I dug the hole out and I filled it. It's full of fabric. That fire's on top of fabric. And then I walled it up. And had one roof on it. And then it'd get real cold in there, and water, rain would make it so much noise. I insulated it, put a insulation on top of it, put another roof on it. So there's two roofs out there. And then we put them windows in there, and that's how we come to the point of where we're at now.
All right, so this is all of the great-grandkids and great-great-grandkids of Mimi and Pops. This is one of the first years that we started. Hannah was born in the year 2002, and this is how tall she was. And every year on Thanksgiving, each of the great-grandkids are measured. And this is Hannah's, and each pole up here has somebody measured on it. Probably starting in the next year or two, we're going to have to add additional 4x4s so that every grandkid or great-grandkid has a pole. And the newest great-great-grandchild has her pole over on this far side. Her name's MK, and she's measured over there.
What does it mean to you, for your family all to be up here for Thanksgiving?
Oh, this is what I live for now. For my family. This is a family deal. Now, all my kids, you can see the evidence of it. And it means so much to me for them to come up here and be with me. If it was at my age now, if I didn't have them, I'd just sell it probably. But I got them, and they all love it. And it means everything in the world. And I look forward to Thanksgiving week, because that's we all come up here that can get off of work and hunt. Then we have Thanksgiving lunch up here, and it means everything in the world to me. And it's something that I wouldn't take nothing in the world for. Even the little ones that you see here, they love it. They come up here and they don't want to go home. They want to stay.
Now, I told you guys that Bobby Earl's the same generation of my grandfather and his brothers. Well, I had an uncle named Zane, and he and Bobby Earl were thick as thieves. Uncle Z was known to tell stories. I mean, he was an incredible storyteller. He used to tell stories about how things were back in the early days of the mid-1900s, when they were coming up in the 30s, 40s, and whatnot like that. One of the stories that he always told was the time Bobby Earl caused Uncle Z to get a whipping by Papa Hicks, who is Uncle Z and my grandfather, Papa Foots, and all them. That was their daddy. That was the older generation right there. You'll hear Bobby Earl refer to him as Otis. Well, Uncle Zane told that story 10 years ago while we were sitting at our family camp. I happened to break out my telephone and record him. So I'm going to show you guys a recording of Uncle Z telling the story, and then I'm going to get Bobby Earl's reaction to it. I think you guys are going to like it.
Tell the story.
When did he buy you a 22?
When I was 12 years old, my daddy was sitting on the doorstep sharpening his razor, and I wanted a single-shot 22 rifle, a Remington, and they had them at the hardware. It was during World War II, but they got in a few, $6 a piece.
How many?
$6.
Show me them fingers again. $6 a piece.
Anyway, I told him, Papa, they got them out there, and son, I just ain't got the money right now. And Bobby Earl Hicks had told me to tell him he's too tight.
And you went ahead with what he said.
I went ahead and told, you're just too darn tight. And boy, he grabbed that razor strop. Come here, young man. He grabbed me by the arm and he whooped me for 5 minutes.
5 minutes of whooping.
And then Mama come out on the porch and said, Otis, don't kill him.
Don't kill him.
Yeah. And then I said, Papa, I didn't mean it. Yes, hell, you did too. Whop, whop. He kept on.
Now, whose fault was it? Like that, whose fault was it really?
Nah.
It wasn't Bobby Earl. Bobby Earl told you.
Bobby Earl told me to tell him it's too tight. He told me right up down there and sitting on the highway up there. Told me, tell him it's too tight.
Now tell me, was Zane's side of that story accurate?
Right.
So you told him to tell Papa Hicks he was too tight.
Yeah. Right. I told him tell him he's too tight to buy him a 22.
Do you remember being raised up back in them days with all them?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How was it back then?
Great. Great. Hey, I eat a minion meal at Uncle Otis's house. Loved it. I remember going down there and staying all night. Me and Zane and Bigfoot, your granddaddy, slept in the same bed.
Mm-hmm.
It was hey, and I loved them, all of them. But me and Zane now were just like brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't wait. Me and him couldn't wait to get together to play.
Mm-hmm. You got a good story with you and Uncle Z?
Okay, we were over there where Zane's house is at, where he built his house, and we were throwing walnuts at car. There's a walnut tree there. Had a lot of walnuts. Wasn't far from the road. Car come down the road, we throw walnuts at it. Sometimes we'd hit it, and sometimes we wouldn't. And one come down through there, we hit it, and boy, you could hear it. And we went on about our business. The car come back, so we all run. Everybody went home. Next day, found out it was Akins. He was a grocery salesman. He was on his way home that evening, and he had a wreck at the foot of the rubber bridge at Starlington. And so he called Bruce Motors, and he was driving one of their cars, and that's the car we broke the windshield out of. So my brother, John Lee, had an old wood stove in that store he had, and he would, so he paid for it. And Bruce Williams' uncle had some land down there close to the Lutheran, had a bunch of wood, timber on it. We went out there, we cut wood, firewood. John Lee paid for it. We cut firewood for him to pay for it.
Yep. That's exactly how Z told the story. That's exactly how he told the story. That's good stuff.
That was on Thanksgiving week. We did that while I was out of school on Thanksgiving.
Oh, just here in Ravenley, yeah, they chop cotton for Irving Bridges all day long. Wanting 25 cents to go catch Bass McDoodle, go to the picture show in Fall. It was 10 cents to get in. They could buy them a popcorn for another nickel and dime. They chop cotton all day long, thinking about that Saturday and picture show. Well, come that evening at 6 o'clock, about just so dark, well, they got through. Irvin had them old pair of drawers. If he says, "This is y'all pay, an old used pair of drawers. That's all I got to pay you."
Bobby Earl, I threw that last story in there for you, baby. I know that you loved Uncle Z and you miss him just like we do. That's one of my favorites that Z tells. Now, he told the walnut story also, and I've got it recorded, but he done been in the beam a little bit, and his language wasn't the best. So I decided to leave that one out. And but you know, the one with right there at the end, that's a great story. I love it. It's funny, and that's just who Uncle Z was, and you can see why Bobby Earl really and Uncle Z fell in with each other. Great guys. I want to thank the Hicks family from that side of the family for allowing me and Dad to come up here and eat with y'all. It's a great time. Man, I'm telling you, this episode right here fires me up to go start. My camp's still up here. I just haven't done a whole lot with it in the last few years. By George, it's got me fired up to want to go do something with it, to make memories with the family. That is something that That's what we do around here. A lot of folks have camps, and I see them start dying off every single year. People don't have camps like they used to. It's like people rush to the woods and then rush home. We need to be taking a little time, slowing down a little bit, and enjoying each other around a fire pit like they do. My name is Greg Hicks. This is the Antlers and Hicks podcast. And I want to encourage you guys to live your life past 20 yards. We'll see y'all next week.